What is up, my weirdo fam, and welcome back to the channel. So welcome to another pick a card reading, and it's actually a love reading. Can you believe it? I'm doing a love reading, but Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and even though I am not your love light, twin flames, rainbows, and unicorns type of bitch usually, I do recognize that relationships are a huge part of our life, and Valentine's Day is right around the corner, like I said, so why not? But you know, I had to add my own little spin on it. So this is the truth about your love life. You can be single, you can be in a relationship, you can be in a complicated situation. It does not matter. This could relate to you, but do remember that this is a general reading, so it may not relate to all of you, okay? So keep that in mind. If you don't resonate with your pile, then you can always pick another pile, or you can just watch another reading. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, you guys, we are set up a little bit differently today, as you can tell. So you're not going to be able to see all of the piles right here. So I'm going to show you a video of what all the piles look like and with the numbers on them so you know which pile is which. I did put crystals at the bottom of the pile if that helps you pick. Timestamps will be down in the description below. And if you're new here, just know that I am no bullshit. I am going to tell you what I see, even if it's like not the most favorable, okay? But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so starting with pile number one, let's see what is going on with you guys in your love life and what kind of truth that you need to know about your love life. Okay, so pile number one, this is effing powerful, like so effing powerful. Like I don't even know honestly how to start this off. I've just been sitting here staring at this, like I don't even know how to start it or how to really communicate it and get it out of my head. But okay, there's a lot here about surrendering to your soul's purpose, surrendering to your soul in general, surrendering to your spirit. Okay, you are super divine. I'm picking up like a super divine presence here, like a super tapped in mother effer, okay? Like a super tapped in individual. So this could be you, someone you're with. I don't freaking know if you're in a relationship or not. This is like technically for anybody, single or not. But somebody here is very tapped in, but they are literally rejecting their power, okay? Because you've went through a lot. You have went through a lot. And I feel like, okay, so we have these like kind of two archetypes here. Well, three archetypes. We have the servant reversed, we have the damsel upright, and we have the mediator, okay? So this tells me that for some reason, for a long time, you've thought that either you have to serve others. Now because this is a love reading, this could be you or the person that you're with if you're in a relationship, so just keep that in mind. So sometimes like if something I say doesn't necessarily resonate, think of the actual, like the literal opposite of that. And I'm gonna give you an example. So if you felt like you had to serve others, like for them to love you back, whether you're in a relationship or not, like you felt like you had to serve others, you felt like you had to really kind of put your all into others, that is not the case. Or you may have felt like others needed to serve you, or like you needed someone in your life to feel complete, okay? And that is kind of what I'm seeing here. You have something that you've been resisting within yourself. It has to do with your divine power, I feel, that you've been resisting. And with the mediator here, I feel like this is like really trying to, I feel like this is saying you should really try to like start integrating this power within you, okay? Because with the damsel and the servant is reversed. Like I said, you may have felt like you either needed to serve others or others needed to serve you. Basically like dependency, like either you needed someone to be dependent on you or you needed to be dependent on someone else because you felt like you couldn't do it by yourself. You felt like you couldn't necessarily do it alone, like you needed someone to save you in some kind of way. Like you weren't, and I get it because I've been there, like Cancer South Node, like dependency all the freaking way. I get it. Like, so don't think I'm like judging you or anything, but this is somebody that really wanted either someone to be dependent on them or them to be dependent on someone else. And then the servant shadow attribute says, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. So that could be another issue that you have going on here. Like you feel like you needed another person, a significant other, to take care of you because you felt like you couldn't do it yourself. So if you're in a relationship, this doesn't mean like, oh my God, like you're not supposed to be in a relationship or you can't be with someone. This just means that there needs to be some kind of negotiation with mediator here. So you may be really good at getting people to kind of do what you want them to do, not out of a place of like necessarily like because the spiritual community is so full of like, if you do these things, if you manipulate, you're a bad person. Like we're freaking human. Half the time we don't even realize we're doing it. That's the whole point of manipulation. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're doing it out of like, you need to take care of me, like you need like a sugar daddy or something like that, or a sugar mama. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's like this subconscious part of you that feels like you need to be taken care of, probably something to do with your childhood. I feel like you had a family that was probably that probably caused a lot of transformation because you've been through a lot of freaking hell, I see here, because we have Scorpio, I transform reversed, and we have Pluto, the modern ruler of Scorpio, reversed. Both stand for transformation, both stand for death and rebirth. And so there's kind of like this, like, and you know, Scorpio, Pluto can rule power, can rule other people's money, right? And so I feel like you felt like you needed to depend on other people to survive because either your family didn't teach you that, or there was like a lot of ups and downs with money in your childhood, or your family wasn't there for you. So you've been looking for that. And we subconsciously, all of us do that. So I just want to make it clear, you guys, I am not judging you because we do have judgment here. So I feel like this is going to be kind of hard for some of you to hear, or you're going to reject it. But that's what I see. Like you reject it. Like you reject you're seeing your own power. We have the High Priestess reversed. Like you do not want to see your own power. You do not want to be silent, you know, to listen to your own inner judgment, right? We have Judgment and the High Priestess. You do not want to listen to your own inner judgment. You feel almost like you need to be guided, or you need someone to be there for you. And that's kind of what I see here with the Seed reversed. The seed is where everything starts, right? And so I feel like you never planted your own seeds, or were never taught to really plant your own seeds in some way, shape, or form, or just something happened where you've been really, really scared of stepping into your own power. You've been really scared to be the person in power, to be the person that is dominant, to be the person that's like, what's up, bitch? I got you, okay? But that is what the cards are all saying here. That is the message I'm getting, because we have Anima Monday, which is basically like the world card in the tarot, but like this is such divine. This is being at one with the world. This is embracing your full divine power within. This is like literally saying that you are connected to everything. This is integration, full on integration, okay? Do not be scared of your power. Once you can face your own power, face your own fears, face your own darkness, that is when you will start receiving blessings, because we have Black Moon Lilith mystery and we have Grand Trine blessings. Okay, so this is all about power, pile number one, all about embracing your power. And I know it's like a love reading, but that's how it relates to love, because you feel like, and if you look at this card, it's like it's equivalent to the Four of Swords. In this deck, it's knives. I can't talk. Mercury retrograde, sorry. But basically, she is touching the statue. This was one of the first tarot decks I ever had, and I haven't used it in so long, but I used it when I first started my channel, so I felt called to use it. But basically, she is touching this statue, being one with that within her, like with that's in her, that is solid, that is, you know, stable. This is about finding that stability within yourself, giving yourself life, okay? Integration, that's what I see here, integration. This is about opposites. This is about balance. And this deck is kind of, it's deep, you guys. There's a crow here that's dead. I mean, there's just so much going on here. It's like you have to walk through the darkness to bring yourself to life. You have to see where you've frozen yourself in time to depend on relationships, to depend on someone else. That does not mean that this person that you're with is not a good person or that you should break up with them if you're in a relationship. And if you're not in a relationship and you've been looking for a relationship, which I'm guessing you are if you're watching this reading, it is a love reading after all, but if you've been looking for a relationship and having difficulty, this is what is holding you back. Once you can trust your own judgment, and I know you hear it all the time, it's so oversaid, I get it, and people get so sick of hearing it, but like, once you love yourself, you know what I mean? I know, I get it. But it's so freaking true, because once you can become your own best friend, you will know what you want. You know, this is if you're single, and really if you're in a relationship too. Once you become your own best friend, the only reason that you would want someone else is if they came into your life and you felt drawn to them and you felt like it was right? But you would already know that you can survive on your own without that person if you ever needed to, because you love yourself, right? It's a gift to be in a relationship. It's a gift to have a connection. It's not something that we should get into for dependency, let's say, right? We also have after the storm here, and that's kind of like what I'm getting with all this Scorpion transformation energy. There's kind of like this, like you've went through this storm recently, whether you're in a relationship or not. It may have seemed like everything was like just falling all around you, or everything was like going through endings, or you were losing a lot of things, or you've went through a lot of things in your life. But this is telling you like the sun will come out again. The sun is coming out again. It's okay. And this doesn't have to be like just recently. This doesn't have to be like, oh, a week ago. This could have been like last year you went through a lot of shit, or a month ago you went through a lot of shit, or a few years ago you went through a lot of shit. And basically you're coming out of it. Like it's time to come out of it now, basically is what I'm getting here. So I feel like I had something come to me, but I forgot what it was. So hopefully it comes back. But anyways, so we also have the 8 of Knives and the 7 of Skulls, which once again tells me that you are holding on to the past, because that's literally what she's doing in this card. She is holding on to a grave. This is the Vampire Tarot, by the way. I think that's what it's called. Tarot of Vampires. But she's literally holding on to a grave. She's literally like not wanting to move on, right? So there's something that you're not wanting to move on from because you're scared, because you're holding on to stability. Like you're craving stability, and you think another person is that stability for you, right? And then we also have the 8 of Knives, and like he's chained to the post, right? Like can't get out. And it's like, so your way out is through. Your way out is doing that scary thing that you're so scared to do, that you're so scared to deal with, right? Like I said, this doesn't mean that you have to be single or that you have to break up with somebody. If you're already single, like, yeah, you can start doing this. And I mean, it could help a little bit more if you're single, because you're already single. So you're already kind of like, well, I got nothing to lose but to start depending on myself. But if you've been in relationships that have constantly just ended, or constantly been toxic, or constantly like taken from you, or you felt left behind so often, or you felt like you had no say-so in anything, then this is for you. If you're not relating to this, like if you're not this person, then I'm sorry, this reading just isn't for you, so don't make it fit. But with the 9 of Skulls here, this is all about independence. This is all about finding your own stability. This is the 9 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. Like, this is all about finding your own independence and stability and your own power, and not needing somebody else. This is about leaving the past behind. This is about unchaining yourself from that post, okay? This is truly about unchaining yourself. It's also about forgiveness with Judgment here. It's about forgiving the past, forgiving what happened. Judgment is about it's like a judgment call. It's like an awakening process where the past comes back, it rises up, like the old skeletons rise up, in order for you to truly see like your past for what it is and be okay with it. You know what I mean? And be okay with it, meet it halfway, and be like, okay, I accept this now. Like, it's already done anyway. Like, you're just not willing to accept that it's done. That's really what like grief and guilt and fear of the past is, right? And then with the High Priestess reversed, which is what came out with Judgment, this tells me that you have a serious hard time trusting your own judgment. You have a seriously hard time trusting your own self, trusting your own inner power, your intuition, okay? And then we also have Healer of the Ages, which is like super powerful, okay? Especially coming out with Anima Monday. Like, you guys are some serious badasses. Like, you guys are here to do some serious badass things. Like, you guys have divine power. We all do. But for whatever reason, if you picked this pile and this is resonating hardcore, you are here to do something huge, okay? Anyways, and then we also have Patience. Okay, so I feel like if you are looking for a relationship, or if your relationship is going through a lot of chaos right now, this is why. And it's saying you need to have patience, because if you can't even have patience for yourself, you're not going to be able to give someone else patience, right? And we have surrender to the beauty of the natural world, surrender to your soul's path. And this goes along with everything that we've literally been saying, you guys. Surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Shit happens, things end. Like with all this Scorpion and Pluto energy here and Black Moon Lilith, like things end, shit happens, shit can get really ugly. Like there's a very ugly side to humanity. We've all seen it. There are some horrific things that happen, but there's also beauty. If you look at it from a higher level, it's all about your perception, right? It is all about your perception. So surrender to the beauty of the natural world. It says take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. And it says surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment, okay? And that just goes with everything that we've been saying, you guys. Like, wow. Okay, so the last few cards that we have here for you guys are some like small little oracle cards. So we have Old Woman and Faithfulness. Now this doesn't mean that you're an older woman. It's not what it means. It means that I personally see this as wisdom, especially to do with this High Priestess here. It is saying that, like, I think some of you guys have a huge fear that you're going to get older and be alone, okay? That you're going to get older and be like the old woman with cats or something, or the old man with a dog, I don't know. But with Faithfulness here, I feel like that's like a huge thing for you. You need to be loyal to yourself. You need to start trusting yourself. And I also feel like some of you guys may have some kind of fear with commitment, okay? Like some of you guys may have a fear with commitment, so maybe you purposely like sabotage the relationship in some way, shape, or form with Faithfulness here. But I really feel like you're looking for somebody that is wise, that is committed, that is faithful, but at the same time, you need to find that within yourself, because you have not been that for yourself, I feel here. So, we also have Palm Tree, which is all about stability, security, growth, endurance, flexibility. We have the card Soulmates, Soul Connection, Partnership, Agreement, Soul Contract. We also have Cupid's Arrow, Have Faith that Love is Coming. So I really feel like with this Palm Tree card, stability, like I said, stability is a big deal for you guys. You're looking for something stable to make you feel safe, but you have to find that stability within yourself. And I feel like a lot of you guys that are in relationships, it could be a relationship that is somewhat karmic, right? It could be a relationship that is somewhat karmic, that is going to teach you how to trust your own judgment, how to trust your own intuition, how to trust your own self, and how to rely on your own self, okay? And then Have Faith, Love is Coming with Patience here, okay? That really goes with patience. So kind of like I said before, if you guys start owning your power, if you guys really start tapping into your power and being independent, okay, and learning to be stable for yourself, especially for those that are single, it will come when it's supposed to come, but you have to surrender to your soul's path. You have to surrender to the beauty of the natural world, just like those cards said, okay? So that is what I'm getting for you guys, pile number 1. Super powerful reading to start it off. Hopefully it resonated. Let me know down below if it did, and we are going to move on to pile number 2. What is going on, pile number 2? This is for those that picked pile number 2 with this crystal that was on top of the pile. So let's go ahead and get into it. So what I am seeing so far for you guys, pile number 2, is that you guys have some self-esteem issues within regarding your love life, whether you're single or in a relationship. You guys have some really low self-esteem issues, which can cause some issues in your relationship, okay? And what I'm seeing here is that these self-esteem issues, these low self-esteem issues, cause you to procrastinate. They cause you to possibly project them onto other people, your partner, or like people that you date or see. And they also can cause you to overindulge in situations and also try to possibly rescue people that don't need to be rescued, or to try to help people. Like, you're one of those people, I feel like, that you're like the fixer, right? Like, you will sacrifice yourself for the relationship, or you will end up becoming the relationship. So that's kind of what I'm getting so far, and we're gonna go over why I'm getting that. So the first card you guys have is the Healer. We also have the Empty Room reversed. So I kind of feel with these two cards, the empty room is like looking at the glass half empty instead of half full. It's like looking at the room like it's empty instead of looking at it like, oh my God, there's so much potential here, right? It's like you immediately notice where people are empty, right? But you don't notice where you're empty, right? And that's what the issue is here. So we also have a few archetype cards here. We have the Bully reversed, which tells me that you're acting through the shadow side of the bully, which is about concealing deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And that's why I said these low self-esteem issues, this void that you have within you to do with your self-esteem, can cause you to act out, okay? And can cause you to be a little bit possibly harsh with your words, or to project your own issues and be like, why aren't they appreciating me? Why aren't they because you do so much for people. Like, you give your all to people or relationships or whatever. You sacrifice so much for people, but when you feel like they're not appreciating it, or when you feel like they aren't giving it back to you, or they like one little thing happens and then you're like, and you can explode. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. And if it's not that way, then this is probably not your pile and probably not the reading for you, okay? Because this is a very kind of specific reading. You really, and I'm gonna kind of lay it out for you, okay? So person A gets into a relationship with person B, right? This person A had kind of like a rough childhood where their parents really didn't pay a lot of attention to them. So they started thinking something was wrong with them, right? So they started thinking the problem lied within them. And so they would create things and escape through creativity, and they would try to show their parents, look what I did. And their parents were like, we don't really care about that. And so they were like, wow, like I'm just literally not important. Like I'm just so not important. And because of this reason, our worst pain, and I actually saw a quote like this earlier today, so this is really odd that this is coming up. Not really, I guess, but I saw a quote that's like, we'll try to fix in other people the deepest pain that's within ourselves or something. Okay, so anyway, so person A gets older and they start getting into relationships because they will meet somebody and they will be like, oh my God, this person does not even realize how amazing they are. Like, they don't even realize their potential, like how good they could be, right? And like, yeah, they're an addict and I'm an addict, so I'm not making fun of addicts. You may even be an addict, because I see a lot of like Neptunian and Piscean energy here, but that doesn't mean you have to be one of those signs. But anyways, so basically they could be an addict, they could be just destroying their lives. Like, we all go through phases, but we have to go through those phases to end up on the other end, right? Like, no one can really like force us to get out of it unless we really want to, right? Especially in most circumstances, not all, but most. Okay, so they will be in a really rough spot in their life, like, and where they don't love themselves either, and you'll still just see their infinite potential and what they could be, right? And you'll imagine what they could be and what you believe they could be. And so that ends up pushing you like into this relationship, and so you spend all of your energy and all of your time and all of your work and all of your effort trying to make sure that they become the person you believe that they should be, even though like they have no idea. And you may not even be doing this consciously, pile number 2. This may be subconscious. So then you get into this relationship and they're like, whoa, you know, like, and they don't do anything back because they don't love themselves either. And you're not doing anything for yourself. So why would they do anything for themselves? You know what I mean? And so you guys are both in this situation, but you're trying to really project your own, you're trying to save in them what you can't save within yourself, if that makes sense. And so eventually, you know, they're not appreciative or whatever, and you get tired, you get fed up, and then you just lash out, you know what I mean? And you think it's all their fault, and like, why is this happening to me? Okay. Or okay, because this is a relationship reading, I really feel like this is you, but maybe these are the people that you get with. But even if so, it's coming from something inside of you that you're trying to, you know what I mean, fix, but you're not looking at you, you're looking at other people for it, if that makes, it's like a projection, okay? So that's kind of a scenario of what I'm getting here. We also have the card Companion, which is loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness, right? We also have hedonist, but it's reversed, so it pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. And then we also have rescuer, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. So you have these like two sides of you, like part of you like really does want to help people because you are a healer, and that's what you don't understand. Like your greatest weakness is also your greatest strength, but you haven't really healed what's inside of you yet in order to be able to heal others and to help others out of a place of not wanting anything in return, out of a place of unselfishness, because even though you may not be consciously doing it, it's still out of a place of something you can't, it still has to do with you, right? And so it's kind of like, if you want to be unselfish about it, the way to go about it is to get to the core thing within you, to sit in that empty room that you hate so much and be able to heal that part of you that really craves to have self-esteem, to build people up, to help people realize their power. But first you have to realize your own, pile number 2. And then once you do that, you will truly be able to understand fully what it is to realize one's power. And that will make you even more of a healer, even more of somebody that helps. And we also have bring it into form. And so once again, this is taking that first step. This is bringing what you preach to others into form. This is practicing what you preach. Now, this isn't to say that you can't be in a relationship, whether you're already in one or not. This is to say what you may need to work on within yourself, if you're resonating with this, in order to have a happier relationship, or in order to get in a relationship if you're not already in one, okay? Now, another reason that even further, you know, goes with this is we have the garden and the gate. And this is all about this chick sitting outside of the garden, and she feels like she can't get in, but she's got the key around her neck. Okay, so this is saying that you already have the answers. You already have the tools that you need, but you don't think that you do, okay? And then we also have the card action. So this is taking action on the things that you've been putting off. This is having the strength, because it's number 17, which is 8, which is having the strength card in the tarot. It is having the strength to walk through your fears, okay? Now, we also have surrender to procrastination. Now, I feel like some of you know this, okay? Some of you really, really know that you have issues with healing yourself, but not others, okay? Or I'm sorry, you have issues with healing yourself and others, or not others. Like, you may think that you don't have an issue with healing others because you do it, or you like to do it a lot, but it causes issues in your life because you're not healing yourself. And I used to do this as well. When I was in high school, you know, my biggest thing was like powerlessness. Like, I felt powerless through my whole childhood. That was like the main feeling that I felt. So I completely relate to this pile. But so when I was in high school, I would see these girls that I would see as being so much more than they thought they were. So I would literally befriend them, and then I would take them home, and then I would, you know, dress them up and show them how to do their makeup, show them how to feel confident, show them, you know, how to dress, how to wear their hair, get their hair done, get their nails done. Like, yeah, like, you know, I was in high school, so like, yeah, those things don't necessarily make you confident, but I didn't know that, you know, like, I knew that they made me confident, and I saw what they could be, you know, and I was just trying to help them feel more confident. So basically I would dress them up, and I would, you know, really try to work with them to find their power and to find their confidence and to find who they were, and to not let the relationships they were in like be the freaking end all be all of their life, the god of their life, right? Like, and I would get so mad when they wouldn't listen to me, right? Like, I would get so mad because some of them would be in really shitty relationships, and I would go over it with them, and I would do all this stuff for them, and then they would still just put up with this person, right? Like, they would still just put up with this asshole, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, how do you not see what I see? And they didn't ask for that. They didn't ask me to come into their lives and save them and try to show them their power and confidence, and like, they didn't ask for that, right? And then I just immediately started having these expectations because of what I had in my head, and I feel like that's kind of what you guys do. So with procrastination here, I feel like there's something that you guys have been procrastinating on that somehow ties into all of this, that somehow has to do with healing, that has to do with working on yourself, and you've been putting it off, okay? And I also feel like because of this self-esteem, it's causing issues with procrastination, because normally the root issue will branch off and cause other symptoms like indulging, rescuing, like kind of somewhat being an asshole, like projecting your shit with your words and all of that. And so it could also be causing you to procrastinate on things that you would really like to do, goals that you have that you should really take action on, but you don't think that you can because of your self-esteem. And then we also have surrender to low self-esteem. Surprise, surprise. So it says, you deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Beautiful energy. Okay, so moving on down here. So we have Neptune sacrifice, which goes perfectly with everything Pisces, I believe. So even if you're not a Pisces sun, a lot of you could have really strong Neptunian or Piscean planets or aspects in your chart. Okay, so moon, rising, sun, Venus. Okay, you guys could have some things aspecting Neptune or conjunct Neptune. I feel like you guys are super empathic. You guys may even be super psychic, but you guys are just really super empathic. You guys are definitely here to be healers, I feel, but you have to learn when to sacrifice yourself and when to not. Okay, and you have to learn the lesson of giving and receiving. You have to first learn how to give to yourself and learn how to receive yourself before you can do it with other people, okay? So we also have South Node reverse, life's debts. And then we have Void of Course, moon missing. So this is really interesting. So this definitely tells me that this has a lot to do with your purpose. This has a lot to do with understanding that your karmic comfort zone is this, what we went over, that because the South Node is like our comfort zone. It's like our trap in a way. So I feel like you're very close, if not already, close to realizing this, to really kind of ending this karmic thing, right? To really, and I also feel like with South Node reversed that this is something deeper. Like, this is something that you may have already went through in a past life but couldn't freaking get a hold of, okay? For those of you that this resonates with, this is really getting a hold of it. This is really learning to believe in yourself, not just other people, okay? Because you believe in other people because somewhere deep down you believe in yourself, but you don't want to admit it, you don't want to look at it, okay? But there's a lot of super karmic energy here because we also have the Six of Cups, which deals with the past. So I really feel like you guys have went through something like this in a past life, okay? You guys have really went through a lot of pain, a lot of like like you were the victim of something. It could have been in this life as well, but with the Seven of Wands here and the Six of Cups, as a child, I feel like some of you guys were like the victim of something, and it really plays into your low self-esteem. It really plays into your decision making. I feel like with the Two of Scepters and the Ten of Scepters, which is Wands, this is telling me that you you know, that you guys might have had to like fight for something, or that you didn't have someone fighting for you. Like there's some kind of like either defense or lack of defense here, I feel like. Also, for whatever reason, I'm getting this energy of like perception. Like you automatically perceive things as being too much, or you know, and you'll fight for other people, like you'll fight their battles for them, like someone didn't fight for you, okay? Or like you didn't fight for yourself in some way, shape, or form, which when we're children, like, you know what I mean? So you can't hang that over your head. But, and we also have the Queen of Knives here, which is just like the Queen of Swords, you know, which really goes into kind of like your discernment, you know what I mean? Discerning who's good for you, who's not. Discerning when to sacrifice yourself, when to not, or when to sacrifice not yourself, but a little bit of yourself, right? Because we can't sacrifice our whole selves, and that's what I feel like is somewhat of your problem. So let's go ahead and go over your last few cards. So we have cheerfulness and sorrow. We also have date, the sword, and rose, and hammer. So hammer says sabotage, rebuilding, integration, repetitive, persistent, working on it. So this really goes in with everything I was feeling. So this is really about constantly trying to fix someone, but it ends up sabotaging yourself, or like being very persistent in trying to do for others, or sacrifice yourself, or, you know, do things for people because you have this vision in your head of how they should be, like we were talking about. So that's kind of what I get with that. And it brings sorrow, with sorrow here. You know what I mean? It brings sorrow. There's kind of like it's hard for you to be cheerful in relationships after a while, because you feel like they're not listening to you. Because just looking at these two cards together, she's kind of facing the other card with her head down, and these guys are all celebrating. And so I feel like you're kind of like, I just want to celebrate. I just want to be confident. I just want to be able to be happy with people, you know? And then the sword and the rose, clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, power. And this really goes with the Queen of Swords. Okay, so you have a lot of fight in you, I feel, from where you feel like you didn't at one point, or where you may have felt powerless at one point. But it's also being honest with yourself. It's also being able to discern who you are and to discern yourself, okay? Seeing your own beauty, not just the beauty in others, and coming into power in a healthy way, and not a way of like, I need to control this, right? I need to control other people, or they need to do what I say. And then we also have date, meeting someone new, dating, getting back out there, plan, set a date. So I feel like for those of you that are single, some of you guys that are single, I feel like may already have been working on some of this stuff. And if that's so, I think it would be a really good idea to date, but not date seriously, okay? After you've like done a lot of work on yourself, date, but not date seriously. Date in the sense of looking at the other person as a projection of who you are, right? Looking at the other person like a mirror, like they're gonna pull out things in you that you didn't know were there, and to learn about yourself and to learn about what you like and what you don't like. And that's why I say, like, if you haven't worked on this at all yet, then it's probably not a good idea right now, because you may just fall right back into those old ways. But once you've really worked on yourself, I feel like, you know, it would be a really good idea to like do kind of what I said, to not take it seriously, to like just be able to enjoy the fun of it, instead of like, I need to fix them, or I need to make them realize like whatever, right? And like I said, for some of you, this could be the other way around. You may get with people that try to do this to you, and it's really important still in that situation to speak up, to own your self-esteem, to speak your truth, and not let other people dictate who you are, okay? So that is what I'm getting for pile number 2. Let me know down below if it resonated. What is going on pile number 3? This is for those of you that picked this crystal, which is pyrite, and the third pile. So let's go ahead and get into your guys' reading. Okay, this is a tough one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So if you're not going through a tough time in your relationship, or as a single person that's dating, or someone that just recently got out of a relationship, then this probably isn't the pile for you. So if you want to pick another pile, or if you are feeling drawn to another pile, go ahead and pick. But this pile is super, super karmic, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it if you do resonate with what I just said. Okay, so the first thing that I am really noticing here is that pile number 3, you guys are seriously devoted people, or there's someone seriously devoted to you that is very, very loving, or you're very, very loving. Like, there is a lot of unconditional love, attraction here, but there's also a huge lack of self-love. There's a huge lack of not feeling good about yourself, of comparing yourself to other people. There's also a huge attraction to players and people that are just really toxic for you, people that like just do not reciprocate the love that you're looking for. You are looking for somebody that is going to love you no matter what, and I feel like that's kind of the problem. You're not looking at it as, I feel like your definition of unconditional love is a little bit off in some way. And I mean, like, yeah, everybody can have a different definition, but like personally for me, I'll give you an example. I was in this relationship where this guy, I thought unconditionally loved me. Like, I literally thought like he would do anything, like legit anything. Like, he would give up his life for me. He would do anything. And I thought that that was really true love, but that's actually really freaking toxic, okay? Like, that is so toxic, because when you get into a relationship, you want to be 1 + 1 equals 11, right? Not 1 + 1 equals 2, to where you become the relationship, okay? To where like 2 is one number, it is not 2 numbers, right? So 2 is one number. You don't want to become the relationship. And I feel like this is kind of a little bit similar to the last pile 2, but a little bit more deep, a little bit more karmic, a little bit more fear-based, with someone that's experienced a lot more pain. Not a lot more pain, because we've all had pain and it feels differently to all of us, and each of our pain is relevant, so I don't want to say it like that, but somebody that is attracted to toxic people. Yeah, so, and kind of like I'm getting a very clear message here of a lot of you guys that picked this pile are in a relationship or in a complicated situation where there's a deep, deep love here, at least from one side, that it, like, you keep coming back to. It's literally like a lust, okay? It's like a lust. It's like you keep coming back to it. You can't end it. It's like so hard to end it, and it's so hard to like end it for good, and you just keep coming back, and that's kind of what I'm getting here, okay? So also, you have trouble recognizing the goddess within, because you think that, I feel like some of you guys have like this fairy tale of like what it should be in your mind, and that's why I like gave that example about unconditional love, because unconditional love is like not someone else that would be like literally willing to like go to bat for you, you know what I mean? Like, that would literally be willing to risk their life for you, because that's losing them, right? They're losing them, sacrificing themselves for you, or vice versa, you for them. And that is just really unhealthy. Like, that's how we lose ourselves in relationships, guys. Like, that's how the relationship becomes toxic, because we start suppressing our own needs and our own wants and our own desires for the relationship, for the other person, you know, to keep the relationship, where we start doing things that are out of character that we wouldn't normally do because of the relationship. And I've been in a ton of toxic, unhealthy relationships, okay? So I completely get it. So I'm not judging you if this is resonating with you. But we do have the castle here, which is kind of giving me like that fairy tale vibe, like that vibe of what you have in mind when it comes to a relationship. And then we also have a Gape here, which is also about devotion and unconditional love. Okay, so this is definitely like something that you are devoted to, but that card also talks about your higher power and how we can get caught up in thinking that someone else outside of us, or even ourselves, our ego, is our higher power. And we get devoted to it and we lose ourselves. Okay, and then we also have the archetype of the student here, which is kind of giving me vibes like you feel like you're still like this other person has to guide you, or you need this other person to guide you in some way, because it says humility and devotion. So there's more devotion to knowledge, openness, to lifelong learning. So you do like to learn, and you still are learning a lot when it comes to relationships, I feel. But we also have Don John reverse. So it's the shadow attribute, which says using power of romantic attraction for private agendas. So this could be you or the people that you get into relationships with. It's very much so about power and about like the unhealthy version of power, like power over someone else, manipulation, players, things like that. And we also have goddess reverse, the shadow attribute, exploitation of the female nature and form. Okay, so it's someone like, I feel like you guys are people that like, you have this unhealthy kind of toxic view of femininity and guys and men and relationships that I feel like probably comes from your childhood. Like you feel like you have to be a certain way or act a certain way, or look a certain way, because we also have surrender comparisons with other people. So you feel like you have to be a certain way or dress a certain way or whatever to get certain people to pay attention to you, or to get people to like you, or to get in these relationships, right? Like you basically are losing yourself in the relationship, like I said before, and that goes with it. And then we also have the card surrender, the idea that you can fix someone, which says it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. Exactly. And I feel like you need this other person to feel better. You think you need this other person to feel, or not feel, to heal. And so, yeah, I feel like you guys are going through a major transformation and shift in a relationship, or just in your love life in general, whether you're still in the relationship or not. Or maybe you're like starting to date other people, but you're still not over this person in some way. We also have walking away, which also tells me it's kind of like that whole vibe. And then we also have financial constraints. So for some of you, there may be some difficulty with stability, financial issues if you walk away, or just stability in general. Like you may feel like you need this person to feel stable and secure. So, and then we also have Mercury retrograde reinvention reversed. We also have Jupiter return benefits reversed. So I feel like you're very scared to reinvent yourself. You're really scared to look at your own understanding, to learn on your own. Okay, you're really scared to almost like be healthy. Okay, like I feel like you get in these relationships that you think like they're somehow higher than you in some way. With Jupiter and the student here, both have to do with teaching, both have to do with learning. Okay, and we also have Sagittarius here, which Jupiter rules, which is IC. So maybe you were in a situation growing up, like some kind of religious thing or certain beliefs, like you have these certain beliefs about relationships and how they should be, like kind of like with the castle there, like I was saying, and that's kind of what's holding you back, because Jupiter return reverse, Mercury retro, like there's something that you are not understanding clearly. Like there's some kind of issue here with the way that you're thinking about something, and with the way that you believe and how you think that you should be with relationships. Like maybe you learned to be this way from your childhood, or from one of your parents, or your parents' relationships, or whatever. And Sagittarius is about seeing the truth, getting to the truth, seeing what you really actually believe, what resonates with you, but being able to reinvent yourself, being able to explore new ideas and new concepts and new beliefs. I feel like some of you guys may be twin flamers. You may, when I say that, I mean like believe in the whole twin flame thing. And I do believe that we have like soul connections with people and stuff, but I just don't like the whole labels and stuff. Like I don't know. But anyways, so I feel like some of you guys may believe in that or something and may think like, oh, well, all the signs were there or whatever. And so you're like using that to ignore all the shitty shit that these people do or the person that you're in a relationship does or whatever. So with Sagittarius here, it's about having clear boundaries, but also finding your own beliefs. And then we also have Saturn return reversed here. So I kind of feel like you guys, boundaries, right? It's like time to grow up. It's time to create boundaries. It's time to create your own stability. Some of you guys could be going through your Saturn return, okay, or some kind of heavy Saturn transit. And so it's like kind of forcing you to grow up. It's kind of forcing you to define who you are outside of a relationship, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't ever be in a relationship. It just means that there's definitely some things here that you need to work on within yourself when it comes to comparing other people, when it comes to how you feel about yourself, your own identity. I feel like this is a huge identity crisis. Like you feel like you have to be devoted to something or someone, okay? And you don't know how to like live your life devoted to yourself. So we also have relax the hold of darkness and be at cause, which is about a huge transformation, a huge energy shift, a huge energy upgrade, which goes along with everything else as well. So we also have the Hanged Man down here and the Fool. So these two cards are all about surrender. Like they both have to do with surrender. These cards are all about surrender, but it's also about taking a risk. It's about like you've been feeling stuck, but it's time to like take a risk. You know what I mean? It's time to take a risk. It's time to explore new ideas. It's time to get out of your comfort zones, even with Saturn reversed here as well. This could be to get out of your comfort zones, to get out of the heaviness of the way that you've defined your life up until this point. Okay, this is like getting out and exploring with that Sagittarian card there and not being as naive, like being naive when it comes to exploring new options, but not being naive when it comes to what you've already been through. Okay, it's about seeing the truth, seeing it from a different perspective. Now, your last few cards down here, we have the Lovers and Death, which definitely tell me that, you know, this is definitely a situation where you guys are having trouble letting go. You guys are having trouble transforming. You're having trouble letting go. We also have the Lord of Skulls, which is like the Prince of Pentacles. So stability again. We also have Temperance. So this kind of tells me you're probably like back and forth with this person, okay? That's kind of where I'm getting that from. Like you're kind of like back and forth with this person, but maybe you're now finally walking away again. Temperance is Sag energy as well. So we have a lot of like Sagittarian energy here. But yeah, it's like, I'm just getting a major like vibe of like somebody here is like this situation is toxic in some way, shape or form. And like, you've tried to work it out. You know what I mean? You can try to work it out all you want, but with Mercury retrograde reversed, like there's not going to be a level of reinvention here. It's not going to happen. Like this, whatever this situation is, I'm sorry to tell you with this person, it's not going to be reinvented in the way that you think it's going to be, basically. Okay? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to lie to you. So we have love, unconditional love, self-love, passion, attraction, affection. So it definitely goes with what we've went over. We have healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships and addictions. We also have wedding rings, union, wedding, married, soul connection. So this could be like maybe you were married to this person, or maybe you wanted to get married to this person, or maybe you're getting divorced from this person. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be married. It could just be like a super karmic connection where you thought you guys were going to get married. You thought this was the one. Okay. Or you really want to get married, like, or you feel like you have to get married. And so you keep kind of overlooking these certain things that this person does or that these relationships do, because like I said, maybe like as a child or the family that you were raised in was kind of like, oh, you need to get married, or you need to marry this type of guy, or you need his money, or whatever, like shit like that. Those are just examples. I'm not saying that actually happened, but could have, but still. We also have reunion, which tells me, once again, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. and enemy. So that just tells me it's not a good idea to keep going back and forth, but I can't stop you. Like, you're not going to stop until you learn the lesson. You're not going to stop until you quit devoting yourself to someone else, and until you really reinvent yourself, and until you really understand at a deep level what beliefs and what feelings within you are causing this chain reaction to continue to happen with you. Like, what is causing you to constantly want to fix other people, to compare yourself to other people, to just do all these things that like are making you miserable or putting you in toxic situations, until you really face those fears and face that darkness, then you know what I mean, you're just gonna, this is going to keep coming up, if that makes sense. So that is what I'm getting for you guys, pile number 3. Hopefully that resonated, or hopefully not, I don't know. Let me know down below, and we're gonna move on to pile number 4. What is going on, pile number 4? This is for those of you that picked this gemstone right here. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I will just say these piles have been pretty specific and detailed so far. Okay, so they're probably not going to resonate with everybody, but I will just go ahead and tell you kind of the general theme of what this pile is about. That way, if you don't resonate with it, you can either pick another pile or just go to a different reading. I don't know, but don't make it resonate if it doesn't resonate. So this is for somebody that has had their heart broken, probably in the recent past, okay? This is for somebody that is either still healing from a heartbreak, or that recently had their heart broken, okay? Maybe you're back in the relationship that broke your heart, I'm not sure, or maybe you're not. Either way, this is definitely somebody that is healing from past heartbreak, okay? So you could be in a new relationship, and this past heartbreak could be affecting you in that way, so that could be an option as well, so just keep that in mind. Or this could go a completely different way, and you could break other people's hearts, okay? Like, you could be the heartbreaker here. So I just want to point that out. But, you know, since this is kind of like a love reading and it involves connection, so you and another person, it could be some things that I'm saying could be about the person you're with, or the kind of people you get with. So just kind of keep that in mind. But what I see here, pile number 4, is you guys are very gifted. You guys are probably very beautiful, a lot more beautiful than you think you are. But your beauty is like unique. Your beauty is like heaven sent. We literally have the card heaven sent here, number 33. Like, your beauty is just like, it's different, okay? Some of you guys, I feel, could be a redhead, because we have the card the siren here, and that's just kind of what I think of. Or somebody that's not afraid of like eccentric colors or wearing eccentric colors. You're somebody that is probably very sexual with this siren here. Like, you are not scared of your sexuality, and if you are, then you shouldn't be, okay? Like, you should not be. The siren can also sometimes be like a temptress, or like a, you know, femme fatale, something along those lines. But it's definitely showing me that you guys have no problem attracting people, but there may be a little bit of issue with keeping people, okay? Because I feel like some of you guys really like relationships. Like, you really seek out relationships, and you are almost, I feel, scared to be in a healthy relationship, like, for whatever reason. Like, and you may not realize that you feel that way. I mean, you may somewhat, but you may not realize how much you feel that way. But yeah, I feel like you guys are like really beautiful people, and probably like really self-sufficient, okay? But you feel like you feel heartbroken. Now, some of you, there could be 2 people, and that's why I feel like some of you guys are in a new relationship, but your old relationship still somewhat is like bothering you, or there's still wounds from an old relationship that you're kind of getting over, or that you're trying to heal, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the cards. So this is the siren card. That's what it looks like, if you can see that. Beautiful card. The freaking camera does not do it justice. It's like really purple and pink and magenta. And we also have the gem, okay? I'm kind of looking at that as like the diamond in the rough. Like, people don't realize how special you are, because you don't realize how special you are. And that's kind of like what's holding you back, right? Like, it's almost like you feel like you're you're just, I don't know, like you're nothing special, but you are. Like you have this unique, eccentric beauty about you, and the way you express yourself, I don't know, I'm just getting this really like, almost like quirky, but a little bit like wild, a little bit like untamed, kind of like feminine, but also like, I feel like you're kind of really in touch with like your masculine as well. Like you're not afraid of either energy within you. Like you're very in tune with both. And yeah, I'm just picking that up. But anyways, so we also have the Lover here. Okay, so you're definitely a lover. You love love. Okay, like it says great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Like you really do appreciate the relationship that you're in. You know how to, you know, make the person feel special, all of that. But you're like, why isn't this, like, I feel like I do everything I should do. I feel like I really give the person attention. I feel like I really try. Like, why doesn't it work out? And we have the Warrior reversed here. So trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. So I kind of feel like you get with these people that are very like warrior-like, or this could somewhat be you. Okay, so there may be some things that you do that somehow you don't notice how they affect others, or you get with people that are just extremely masculine. Okay, and so, and I feel like you really chase love as well, because we have the Seeker here, and I really feel like this is like a chaser. Okay, like someone that really likes to chase love. And if someone's not, like if you get with someone, if you're in a relationship with someone and all of a sudden they're like not interested in you, you like, it's really hard for you to like put it down and just move on. You know what I mean? You're like, what the hell? Why? Like, I don't understand. And like, yeah, like that is hard, you know, like I feel like to some degree, all humans would be like, what the hell, and chase it a little bit. But you are like, what the hell? Like, I need to know the truth. Like, what is the truth? It's like super intense for you. And so you will go to extremes to like figure out what the hell happened or whatever, and you'll think that there's something wrong with you, right? With the Seeker here, it says thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Now, some of you guys, I feel like, could also have trouble committing fully, and that could be the problem here as well, because there's some kind of like problem here with it. Like you almost feel like you're not enough. So you could be a heartbreaker, or it could be the opposite. You could have gotten your heart broken, okay? So we also have Gemini, I think, Jupiter, abundance, first house, reversed, the body, and Saturn, truth. So once again, that truth energy, you're like seeking the truth about something. And we also have with Gemini, I think here, this is another reason why I was kind of picking up like, you know, multiple people, like there could be more than one person involved in your love life here lately for some reason. And even if you're not like dating more than one person, this could just be like you're not over someone from the past all the way. With Jupiter abundance, like people are attracted to you. Like you have a different mind, you have a different way of looking at things, you have a different way of thinking about things, and you're attracted to people that teach you, okay, that teach you about yourself. But the way you feel about yourself is the problem, because we have the first house, the body, reversed. So there's almost like you're comfortable with your sexuality, but there's like, you don't see who you are in your appearance for what it really is. You don't see the beauty for who you really are. And surrendering outdated beliefs about yourself tells me that as well. It says, let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. Okay, so you need to really take a look at those beliefs about yourself and if they're true or not, right? Because we also have the card Heaven Sent. Like, the way that you look was literally heaven sent. It's literally for a reason, okay? And once you can start looking at it like that, that can really shift your focus. Like, you look the way you do for a reason, okay? And I feel like a part of you, like, at least used to know, like, you were attractive. Like, I don't know, I'm feeling someone that's, like, confident, but because of some kind of situation that happened, like, it kind of knocked you down a few notches, and you're like, whoa. You know, so, and then we also have the card Broken Heart here, which really tells me that you've been through something, or you broke someone else's heart, I don't know, or you break other people's hearts. We also have first chakra, Archangel Michael here, you know, so this is all about fear. So either you fear a broken heart, so you're scared to commit, because I'm kind of getting like 2 or 3 storylines with this pile. The other piles were like super specific, but I'm kind of getting a few different storylines. I feel like some of you guys are like little heartbreakers because you're scared to commit. You're very fearful of commitment. Other ones of you have recently had your heart broken, maybe even for like the first time, okay? And it's like really kind of set you back. And then others of you kind of had your heart broken in the past, but you've moved on, but you're still kind of dealing with issues because of you had your heart broken, if that makes sense. So we also have the Five of Swords and the Four of Swords, which is like crazy. So that really tells me that you went through some kind of a heartbreak, like, or that you've done it to someone else recently. And I'm not saying like, okay, if you did it to someone else, but you were being true to you, then maybe you feel guilty about it or something. But like if you were being true to who you were and you just weren't into the person anymore, or maybe you're in a relationship but you're scared to leave because you don't want to break their heart, like be true to you, okay? And I feel like you feel like you're an ice cold bitch because she's literally holding like an icicle, but be true to who you are. We also have the Prince of Grails and the Lord of Grails. So this also tells me that there could be two different people in the picture for some of you, or this could just be the same person. Someone has moved on, and I feel like someone, if this is two different people, someone is kind of coming towards you, but then someone else has moved on. And just the way these cards are laid out, we also have the Five of Grails, okay, which is five of water basically. These are water sign energy here, but they don't have to be a water sign. It's just water energy here. I was thinking Grails were Pentacles for some reason, but it's not in this deck, it's water. So we also have the Five of Grails, which is kind of like guilt, shame, or remorse. So somebody feels heartbroken, somebody feels guilt, shame, or remorse. So however it resonates, okay? But either way, I feel like someone is paying attention to the past. Like someone, because just she is looking back at everything. So it just tells me that like someone's in a pretty damn good place, but they kind of feel bad about the past, okay? So I don't know. I know we're kind of getting a few different storylines here, so let me know which one resonates with you guys. So we also have the Gift and Sweetheart. So I feel like this is once again really recognizing how gifted you are, and recognizing, like, for those of you that feel like scared of commitment, this is recognizing that it's okay to be sweet, it's okay to let your guard down, it's okay to be vulnerable. Like, I think some of you guys are scared of being the sweetheart because you're like, no, like that makes me look like I'm powerless or vulnerable or whatever. Like, and this is like, no, it's okay. Like, it's a gift to be sweet, it's a gift to be kind, it's a gift to let your guard down. But I also feel like this just further affirms that you guys are really beautiful, okay? I also forgot to mention we have the card Surrender to Divine Timing here. So sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough, according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. Okay, so there could be something that you guys have been like impatiently waiting on, or maybe it has to, like, it somehow has to do with your love life, your relationship, and it's basically telling you to surrender that because it will happen when it's supposed to happen. With the Four of Swords here, we have like the clock, right? So I feel like this is going two ways. I feel like this group is kind of really mainly split into two, where some of you guys like broke someone's heart, or scared to break someone's heart, scared of commitment or something, or you're just not in it anymore, like you're just not in love with the person anymore. And then others of you are the one that is heartbroken and learning to trust yourself, if that makes sense. So the last few cards we have is the Clock, which goes with divine timing, and this Four of Swords card. Needs time, takes time, time cycles, time to heal, progress. Okay, so this is about taking time for yourself, letting yourself rest, letting yourself recover, not rushing yourself. We also have the Grim Reaper. The relationship is over, no second chances, grow and transform your life. Okay, so there is a relationship that some of you guys are like needing to move on from, that I really do feel like it's kind of in the past, or for some of you it may be current, but I feel like a lot of you guys know, like, okay, it's done, it's time to move on. We also have the Butterfly, which says relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child, and growth. So this is for those of you guys that I said that were possibly in a new relationship, okay, but you're still healing from the past one. So either way, if you're not in a new relationship, this is about the relationship with yourself revolving, or not, sorry, revolving. This is about the relationship with yourself evolving, I feel. This is about, you know, healing the inner child and growth, just like it says. Healing yourself, you know, healing your broken heart, and healing the reason why these freaking karmic patterns keep happening, why you keep getting into these kinds of relationships, or why you got into that kind of relationship and how it affected you. And that way, once you heal the wound, especially if it's like to do with your childhood, you won't get in that kind of relationship again. You'll get in a relationship that you really truly deserve. And I really do see that here with Jupiter abundance. Like, you have a lot of good luck coming your way, but you have to be able to heal first. So that is what I'm getting for my pile 4s. Hopefully that resonated with you guys. Let me know down below. And we're going to move on to pile number 5. What is going on, pile number 5? This is for those of you that picked this beautiful stone crystal right here. So this is a very interesting pile. It's definitely not like any of the other ones. I honestly feel that you guys are likely already in a relationship. Now, if you're not, this may not be the pile for you, okay? So I feel like a lot of you guys are likely in a relationship that is very committed, okay? Or maybe you have children with somebody that you're very committed to, but there could be some problems, and I feel like some of you guys are a little bit concerned about these problems, okay? If you're not in a relationship, then there's a huge emphasis here on your parents, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have the Empress and we have the Emperor. So, I mean, that's like insane. Like, these cards were really, really well shuffled. I mean, I've used these cards a bazillion times. I hadn't used them in a while, but still, they've been used a bazillion times. There's no reason why, like, I mean, that's just not a coincidence. So we have the Emperor and the Empress here. So this is probably likely people that are in a very committed relationship. Or, like I said, if you're single, then there's a huge emphasis on your mother and father. Like, somehow your parents have very much so affected your love life in some way. But we're going to go over it and you can see if you resonate with it or not. The main vibe that I'm getting here is that there's a huge problem with stability, or with some kind of financial stuff, and also with childhood issues. So if you are in a committed relationship, what's going on, like the truth about your relationship is that there is some childhood issues. There's also some identity issues that I see here that we're going to go over. So the first card we have is Mystic. So this is a very free spirit. This is somebody that, this could either be you or the person you're with, but this is somebody that's a very free spirit that really likes to not have a day-to-day routine, because we also have 6th house routine reversed. This is someone that really likes to flow, that really likes to do what they do and not really have like a defined kind of life. They really like to just go with the flow. They could also be empaths, healers, or just really like helping other people, but they really like learning and seeing different parts of the world. And then we also have the archetype of the King here. So this is somebody that is very stable, very knowledgeable, that probably does have somewhat of a schedule or a defined life. This is somebody that is just very sure of who they are, is kind of what I'm picking up. This is somebody that also may have something to offer. It's kind of weird because like it's almost like two opposites is kind of what I'm getting here, like with this feminine energy of the Empress and then the masculine energy of the Emperor. But also like the Mystic and the King, like that's just, I don't know. There's like a sense of duty with the King, and the Mystic there's like a sense of I just want to be free, I just want to flow, I want to travel, I want to learn, all of that. So the next archetype card we have is the Victim reversed. Okay, so it's the shadow attribute. It says playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Okay, so, and I'm kind of getting this as the Mystic person, the person that is a little bit more free flowing, that is having some trouble with boundaries or having some trouble with themselves. We also have the child orphan archetype card reversed, which is feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. So there is some feelings, I really feel like this is with the mystic person, the person that's very mystical, of abandonment. This is really some feelings of, which I feel like most of you guys that are watching this are probably the mystical person as well. There's really some feelings of abandonment from childhood, feelings of being victimized, or like things are happening to you. And so this king archetype in your life is probably your sense of stability, probably your sense of structure in some way. We also have the child divine, okay, which says innocence, purity, and redemption suggest a special connection with the divine. So you guys are definitely very divine, but there's also this childlike energy within you, right? Like we all have divinity within us, but you guys really have a strong connection with divine, with learning, with, you know, spirituality and all of that. So then we also have goddess of the moon. Okay, so this is really suggesting that you get in touch with your feminine energy, with your power, with your emotions, okay, with your goddess feminine energy. We also have appreciation. So I feel like there could be somewhat of a lack of appreciation of yourself, your gifts, your divine energy, your goddess energy, your powers, your divinity in some way. But also, I'm also picking up with this appreciation card that there could be a lack of appreciation for your partner if you're in a relationship, okay? And then those of you that are single, I feel like for some of you this could be saying that you are basically having issues with relationships or getting into relationships because you may depend too much on the other person, or the other person may be too dependable and you don't want to be like held down, you want to be free flowing, and you're used to kind of not having a home with child orphan there. It doesn't necessarily mean you were an orphan when you were a child, although it could, but it just may mean that you lacked stability as a child in some way. So we also have surrender to the wisdom of your body, which says listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. So I feel like for a lot of you, and also with the goddess of the moon, and we literally also have the moon card, which is your soul, there's something that's like making you uncomfortable and you need to kind of speak up about it, I feel, for some of you. And then also we have surrender your attachment to results. The formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. And we also have surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic within us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. So this is funny. I'm really picking up that for those of you that are in a relationship, you may feel like there's some issues being yourself in the day-to-day, or you get bored in the day-to-day, so you're looking for some kind of excitement, because we also have sacred fool here. Okay, this is about unleashing your inner quirkiness, taking risk, exploring, which really goes with the Mystic card and everything else we've been talking about. It's really just about being yourself, no matter how foolish or funny or weird that seems to other people. And you may be going through a little bit of an identity crisis, or you or your partner may, however this resonates. But because we have Aries I am reversed, and then the Emperor is also associated with Aries a lot of the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the person's sign, although it could be. But we have a lot of Aries energy here and a lot of moon energy, which can be Cancer, sometimes Pisces. But basically, I feel like there's some issues with identity here. It's like you're almost like, I don't know who I am, and I don't know how to be myself in some way. Or you may feel like you've gotten so used to kind of living your partner's life in some way, or doing what your partner does, or because like I feel like the other person is like really stable in some way, okay? Or you've like relied too much on your partner for that stability that you've lacked, and it's kind of compromised who you are in a way. So it's really about being yourself and understanding your identity, but also having an appreciation for what your partner does if they are doing a lot for you. We also have the 6th house routine, which goes along with the mundane aspects of life, with health, with taking care of yourself, with taking care of, you know, the everyday things, working, all of that. And then we also have the earth element of stability reversed. So I feel like there's definitely some instability, lack of security, or lack of discipline in some way. That's really what I'm getting here, lack of discipline. It's like someone has a severe lack of discipline and they're kind of struggling with the lack of discipline, but also being true to who they are and being that free spirit. So this could be for if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, basically. And then we also have Moon, the soul, which really goes into like tapping into that feminine energy, that divine energy, and, you know, listening to what your body says, right? So we also have the Page of Wands and the Knight of Cups. So for those of you that are single, I feel like some of you guys could be newly dating someone if you're not in a committed relationship, or you could be going out on dates, or you could get an invite to date someone, because that's what these two cards would mean to me. The Page of Wands, the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is very romantic, very playful. The Page of Wands is like an invite, something along those lines. If you're in a committed relationship, this could just be bringing back the passion, bringing back the romance. Maybe things got a little bit too mundane for you in some way. Now we also have the Five of Skulls, which is Pentacles, and the Eight of Grails, which is Cups. Okay, so this tells me that something needs to be left behind from the past. Now, stability, security, because it's like the Five of Pentacles, this is kind of like almost feeling like you're stuck in a situation, or like the outsider looking in. So there definitely could be some stability issues or some job issues, something along those lines, money issues in some way, shape, or form. And it's really about, like, you may feel like unhappy in a sense, but it may not necessarily be with the relationship. It just may be within the relationship in some way, like not happy with it's not that you're not happy with the other person if you're in a committed relationship. It's almost just like you feel like the mundane parts of life are restricting who you really are in some way. But I do feel like most of you that are watching this are in a committed relationship, because we have wife and child here. Okay, so that really tells me that, like, you know, you may feel like your identity is this stay-at-home mom, or this mom that's in this family. Like, your identity is the family and not yourself, if that makes sense. But if you're single, maybe you recently got out of a relationship or a divorce, or you have kids with somebody and you're trying to kind of find your identity again, or you're trying to kind of find your way again and your purpose again. Because I really feel like a sense of lostness here. Like someone is feeling a little bit lost, okay, and they're having trouble appreciating what they are, and they're really worried about results. There's like a huge fear of like results, or how's it going to work out, and they're not like really listening to their body anymore, not listening to the magic of who they are anymore. Okay, so we also have, and if none of that resonates with you, then it's probably not your pile. Okay, so either pick another pile, or you can watch another reading, a whole playlist of pick a card readings. So we have Kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. So I do feel like some of you guys could be dating, okay? And even if you're not, if you're in a committed relationship and you're not like wanting to leave, or if you're just happy with kind of like your day-to-day life, but you're still happy with your significant other, this could be bringing that affection back, like re-falling in love again. Like, not that you don't love them anymore, but bringing some kind of affection back into the relationship, because we also have Hand of Cards, which is about taking a risk, being strategic. So if you are like that committed mom or that committed dad or in that committed relationship, this is really about using your time wisely, I feel, and considering all of your options, okay? But even if you are not in a relationship, or you're starting to date, or you're leaving a relationship or whatever, take the chance, take the risk, consider your options. We also have the Twin Flames card. Ooh. Yin Yang, Zen, balance, union, duality, coupling, complement each other. So interesting. So I do feel like, and okay, so I don't really like the whole label of twin flames, because I feel like, you know, I do believe we have really strong connections while we're here, but I don't know if I believe in like the exact definition of twin flames. I do somewhat like believe in soulmates and strong soul connections. Like I feel like everybody is somewhat a soulmate, like they're in our path for a reason, but also there's some connections that are just a lot stronger, that are just really meant like here and meant to be here to really like show us something and help us grow and all of that. And so I really do feel like most of you are with this person or in this committed relationship. Like you may even be married and you may have kids, I don't know. And for those of you that aren't, or maybe you left someone but you're dating again. I don't know. I'm just really getting that this is more so for somebody that is already in a committed relationship. Like maybe a few of you guys are starting to date, or you recently left a relationship that you weren't happy in. Maybe it wasn't necessarily the person. Maybe it was just how the relationship was going, you know. But I feel like this Twin Flames card is for those of you that may already be in a relationship that isn't, and if this relationship is like toxic for you, it's miserable, then this isn't the reading for you. This is somebody that is just kind of like going through some shit. That's kind of like, I need to find out who I am. I need to work on myself in order to really build myself back up. So that is what I'm picking up for this pile. Let me know down below if this was your pile, because this was a really interesting one. And I'm really anxious to see who this resonated with and if it resonated with anyone, because it's definitely not like any of the other piles and it's kind of more specific. So definitely let me know down below. But that is all for this reading. I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading, and I love you. Bye.